Well, I got a lot of updates. Things are moving along. Things are progressing. There's something every week. I work a full-time job, so in between the massive heat that we're having here in Florida, today feels like 108. There are no trees really in Florida. It's all cement and it radiates. I'm at the shop though. Today's Saturday. It's nice and cool. We got a fan going, some music going, and I'm pulling off the doors on the truck. They're gonna go home with me so I can start working on them at home. Basically, kill the rust on the inside of the doors, clean them up where they're ready for primer, and they're also going to be ready for paint. That said, I've also done some things with continuing to work on the transmission 3 on the tree linkages. I think they're better now than they have been. I kind of tightened up a lot of the loose sloppiness, and I also went ahead and put a new switch on the low pressure brake switch coming off the master cylinder. And I'm trying these new solder type connections. You've probably seen them on Instagram and elsewhere. You heat them up and they're not only shrink wrap, but they're waterproof, and they've got a little bit of solder inside. So when you heat them up, they come together. Anyway, let me load this thing up and I'll show you some more as to what's going on in the shop. And then I'm gonna go home and show you what's going on there. So, time to load. Well, that was actually work. I'll take you inside now. Well, I kind of lied. I said that the next day I'd be back at the house after I left the shop, and I figured I'd just do it today. Heat index today is 110 degrees. So, you know, just trying to keep cool. I do have a little pop-up tent and a garage that's a tent, which you've seen if you've been watching this stuff. And I brought home a door that's already been primed and is basically all the metal's new on this thing. I'm going to work on this at the house to keep the body work moving quicker at the shop. The major stuff, the metal fabrication on the hood and elsewhere on the cab. Got to pull off the roof of the cab. There's a lot to do there, but it's coming along pretty quickly. That said, I have the bed of the truck here, which I'm going to do some work on today in terms of kind of knocking it down, getting it cleaned up and painted. So that's pretty much the day. So time to start on that. Basically what I'm doing is what I did previously. I'm going to take down the original paint, but not to metal. It's going to be a blend. I just want to kind of get it cleaned up. I'm going to take regular rubbing alcohol, which I got on for sale, on sale. Wow. Anyway, once I get everything cleaned and blown and wiped down, I'm going to use the alcohol to pick up any type of oil, sweat, and there'll be a lot of sweat. You can really try to kind of dial this thing in and prepare it for paint. I'm probably going to do these 2 sections first. I've got some tools that I went ahead and purchased. The big one is this one. This is a Hercules. And that's like a 40 grit, which works really well. It knocks down everything. This is all old grease and stuff. And like I said, I'll blow it and kind of begin working on getting it cleaned up. I don't want to have to worry too much when I get it to the shop. I want it to be, for the most part, prepared in terms of metal. And when we start cutting rust out, which is going to be a lot of rust and replacement, the areas that are green, we're really not going to have to mess with. I want to have some of that done by the time it gets there. There is some minor work that needs to be done. This entire section is going to be removed and replaced. I found a body donor. Boy, that sounds rough, but it's a body donor. I've got a bunch of bed pieces. I've got some cowl pieces. Everything I could find. I even have a new radio for 50 bucks from the same period, from International. I don't know if it works, but I got some plans with that, which will kind of be cool. What I want to do is, the odds are, make it into a Bluetooth radio, which should work. Anyway, so I'm going to start this and hopefully it'll go pretty quickly. Well, a few things happened. It got so hot that the camera died, so no video. And now I've had to turn off the camera and lay it on ice, which is hopefully going to work. Anyway, so I did a bunch of sanding over here. Really got quite a bit done. I got to go to the store in a minute to get some rust neutralizer or killer or stop rusting stuff. And I'm going to blow this off real quick, head to the store, get that, hit these areas that have sanded. And it's pretty bad out as far as humidity, so it's good I get this thing done as soon as possible. So I'm going to head to the store in a minute. I got a little more sanding to do. Anyway, that's the agenda. And once that's done, got to figure out what I want to do. Or, probably hit the camera is what I'm going to do. Or I may just go inside and take a break. It's ridiculously warm out here. You can see it's pretty cleaned up at this point. The green paint from the other day is actually nice. And because this is under the bed, I'm not really so concerned about it being perfect. What I am concerned about areas like this that I've knocked down pretty good, but now the rust neutralizer will come into play. Then I've got this last little bit, and I've got these wheel wells, which are in pretty good shape actually. But I'm just doing this in pieces at a time, largely because I have a job that requires me to show up, and it's full time. This is not full time, unfortunately. Okay, well, I've had a pretty good day. Did a lot of work on the bed and hit it pretty hard with the sandpaper, the 40 grit. And now it's ready basically to be hit with some rust treatment. So this will basically neutralize the rust, kill the rust that's there. I can't paint over it for 24 hours. It's got to set. You got to shake it real well is what they say. So I'm going to hit this pretty good with the rust killer. So there's places up under these structural bars that have some rust, and here and there. It's not real bad. I've gotten rid of most of it, but I want to make sure that I deal with it as well as I can before I actually get the paint on. So I don't want this stuff going everywhere, so I'm wearing a respirator, just trying to prevent really who knows what with this stuff. But anyway, so here goes. And the key with this stuff is you've got to you got to hit it with another coat within 2 minutes. Even with a respirator on, I'm not breathing normally. I just don't. There's a lot of rust up under here. And with the bed upside down off the truck, I'm not really ever going to have another chance to do this again. Not in my lifetime. Start one more time. Put a couple coats on it. This bed's in really good condition, minus the part that sits against the cab. I got new metal coming for that. The stuff's about $11 a can. I'm only going to do 2 coats also. I just don't need to use that much. But again, just do this while the metal's exposed. By the way, I think I mentioned, I've already sprayed or I wiped everything down with a rubbing alcohol, which is what you're supposed to do. You got to get it real clean. You could use water and dishwasher soap, or dish soap, but I kind of feel weird about putting water onto steel. And I work a regular job, so I may not get back to this project for 2 or 3 days, I'm guessing. We're gonna let this sit. Actually, I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna put the fan on kind of low and get the vapor out of here. Also, I went ahead and bought more of the Hey It's Close Krylon green paint. This paint that was on here was this color. The green was kind of like in here, over here, and this green that I put on it's basically tractor spray. Krylon Farm Implement High Gloss Tractor Green. This is all going to be hidden. It's all going to be hidden. There's not going to be any sight line to what I'm doing here, but I did want to make sure that I treated it. I don't want to do the outside and go to all the work that I'm going through and not pay attention to the stuff that you can't see. It just doesn't make any sense. These masks are pretty good. As soon as I take it off, I know what I shouldn't be breathing, because you can immediately smell the chemical. That's why I have the fan on. But we're closer now to painting that section. The next steps for this will be hitting this area here with the 40 grit sander, getting all the small spots, and then treating for rust again. And then basically the wheel wells. Once I'm done with that, I may try to tackle some of this, straighten some of this metal out. I think I can do it. I've got a dolly, I've got a hammer, so I think I can do that. I've never really done that type of body work before, but there's some obvious stuff I can do here to help along. And there's some areas I can see that they've been worked and in the past. And some of these things are kind of dented, so the good news is this is not going to be a show quality vehicle. This will be something a daily driver, but I want it to have some life, and if all I'm worried about is working on the engine, I'm happy with that. So you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint it. Means respirator's got to come back on. So let me set up for that and turn the camera off and put it back on ice. Yep. Otherwise the camera's dying today. The heat index is like 110 degrees. Boy, it's rough. It is rough. All right, more in a bit. All right, I've set up. Kind of happy that I'm going to just hit this. I'm going to kill the fan, kind of reduce the amount of dust. And again, I'm using the Krylon Farm Implement. I've heard some thunder, but I don't see it, so. Here goes. Putting a much lighter coat on it. Likely because I probably should have waited for that rust stuff to completely dry, but why not? Nobody's gonna see it. Oh, it's fine. What could happen? And I can come back over this if I need to, which I will anyway, at some point. I'm gonna hold off there, see how that goes. Come back tomorrow, realize I screwed it all up, do it all over again. This time the rust will be killed though. So it's cleaned up. I think it'll probably look fine. Not really concerned so much. Again, it's going to be out of the view of most people. As long as it's sealed, I'm good. And I like the green. Next up will be the wheel wells, this front section. Probably some of the sides here after I get through trying to hammer out some of these more significant dents. And if the camera's still on, which apparently it is, that's always good. Boy, is it heating up though. Anyway, so I had a good day. Got a lot done. Pretty pleased actually with how this is coming out. The bed's just going to be a work truck bed, so as long as it's sealed. And I got the door here, so that's going to require some work too. That's going to be a lot of work, I'm guessing. The outside's already primed. The metal work's already been done on the outside. So now I've got to get the underside, clean it all out, get it ready for weather stripping, that type of thing. Bottom of the doors are really nice. There's some rust, but nothing huge. This all can be pretty easily repaired. And of course I got the bumpers that I did the other day. You know, it's all about experimenting, so that's what I'm doing. If I make mistakes, I make mistakes. I'm not so concerned about it, but as you can see, it's coming out pretty nicely. Anyway, so that's the update. I'll have more updates probably in next week. I'm gonna keep working on this during the weekday. Head over to the body shop next Saturday, I'm guessing, get some more done there. And I'll share it as we keep making progress. Anyway, that's about it. I will talk to you soon. Please like, subscribe if you like this type of nonsense. And I won't tell anybody. It's our secret.